It was the biggest heartbreak of my life. And I honestly felt like I was gonna die.
I have decided to tell my story that I've never shared with anybody in the world.
At 53, Matt Damon has dropped a bombshell about his longtime friend Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. After only 2 years of what seemed like the perfect marriage, the couple is reportedly heading for a split. What really happened behind the scenes of their glamorous life? Tune in as Damon's shocking revelations uncover something far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. The dark side of their reunion. Hold on, because there's a lot more to this story that might just shock you. The couple, who got back together in 2021, seemed to have a perfect love story. Everyone thought this was a beautiful reunion, but now things have taken a drastic turn. The actor, who has always been in the news for his relationships, is once again at the center of attention. His past, filled with public relationships and constant media scrutiny, seems to be impacting his life again. But before we dive deeper into this, you won't believe what insiders are saying about the real reason behind their sudden split. This could change everything you thought you knew about their relationship. The latest developments with him and Jennifer Lopez are quite surprising and seem a bit dark. This could really change how we see them. To understand this sudden change, it's helpful to look at his past relationships. He has a pattern in his relationships that's hard to overlook. Let's start from the beginning. Back in 1997, after the success of the movie Good Will Hunting, he and his friend Matt Damon became famous. Their success brought them an Oscar and introduced them to the glamorous world of Hollywood. During a fancy party hosted by Harvey Weinstein, he met Gwyneth Paltrow. She had just broken up with Brad Pitt and was very open about her regrets, blaming her young age for the breakup. This honesty was quite different from the relationship that later developed between her and him. At first, their relationship looked promising. After working together in the movie Shakespeare in Love, they started dating. However, their relationship went through many highs and lows. Over the next few years, they broke up and got back together a few times, like during the filming of the movie Bounce. By the year 2000, their relationship ended. Paltrow was quite open about how hard the breakup was for her. She was less forgiving when talking about her ex compared to her time with Pitt. On Howard Stern's radio show, she mentioned that although he was funny, their time together was full of arguments and challenges. She felt that he wasn't ready for a serious commitment, a theme that seemed to repeat in his relationships. But this wasn't the only warning sign. Paltrow suggested that sometimes people try to fix problems from their childhood in their adult relationships. She felt that her relationship with him was an example of this. He, in a defensive tone, responded in an interview on Good Morning America, suggesting that Paltrow's ideal partner would be someone like her father. This comment revealed some underlying tension, especially since her parents weren't very fond of him. Gwyneth Paltrow didn't stay silent about his comment. She responded that his perfect woman would be someone like a bikini-clad waitress serving cold beers. This sharp response highlighted the tension in their relationship and suggested that he often got distracted by other interests. As time passed, more signs appeared that he tended to cause issues in his relationships. These concerns weren't just with Gwyneth Paltrow and her friends. In 2016, Paltrow talked about a time when she organized an event with celebrity chef Mario Batali while she was dating him. Batali, who liked Brad Pitt, didn't have the same feelings for her new partner. This lack of warmth indicated a general disapproval and suggested that many people around Paltrow doubted his suitability as a partner. This skepticism painted a picture of his love life as unstable and often not genuine. Jennifer Garner, another one of his exes, supported this view. She described him as complex, saying he could be very caring and attentive when he was interested in someone, but could also become distant and cold when his focus shifted. This behavior matched the experiences of many other women who had been with him, showing him as someone who could be both loving and difficult. The story of him and Jennifer Lopez, often called Bennifer, followed a similar pattern. They first met on the set of the movie Giggly, when Lopez was still married to Chris Judd. In a 2003 interview, he said their relationship started as a simple friendship while they were working together, with no romantic feelings at first because Lopez was still married. However, this friendship quickly turned into more. After Lopez filed for divorce from Judd in July 2002, her relationship with him grew stronger. Just when it seemed like his life was settling down, an unexpected twist pulled him right back into the spotlight. The end of their perfect love. That summer, it was obvious that there were sparks between Lopez and her new partner during a birthday celebration for her, and they officially started dating. By November 2002, when Lopez released her famous song, Jenny from the Block, news of their engagement spread quickly. The music video for the song, featuring him, became very popular, especially for the scene on a yacht where he was seen kissing Lopez's back, a moment that became iconic in pop culture. This relationship between Lopez and her partner became one of the most talked about in Hollywood, drawing attention from fans and media alike. However, their initial engagement didn't last, leading to a high-profile breakup in 2004. Yet, years later, they found their way back to each other, reigniting hopes of a lasting reunion. Unfortunately, the challenges and patterns from their past seemed to resurface, leading to their recent split. This breakup shows that despite the glitz and glamour, maintaining a relationship in the public eye can be very challenging, especially when past issues come into play. His relationships show a man who has experienced both the highs of love and the lows of personal struggles. His path in the public eye continues to evolve, and the world watches, hoping he finds happiness and stability in his future endeavors. Yet, this was not the only instance where their relationship hit rocky patches. Their engagement was highlighted by a dazzling 6-carat pink diamond ring from Harry Winston, as reported by People magazine. But despite the glitzy start, their happiness was short-lived. The movie Giggly, which both starred in, bombed at the box office, and it seemed to reflect the problems they were facing in their relationship. Days before their wedding in September 2003, which was set to be a grand affair, they had to delay it. They blamed the intense attention from the media. It had gotten so overwhelming that they even considered using fake versions of themselves at different locations to throw off the paparazzi. But that wasn't even the worst of it. By January 2004, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez had called it quits, citing the constant media scrutiny as a major factor in their breakup. This issue of being constantly watched would emerge again when they reunited almost 20 years later. Even after they announced their re-engagement, it was obvious that the media frenzy hadn't faded. It got to a point where Lopez had to publicly ask for privacy during a challenging time. From 2004 to 2021, Lopez and her partner led separate lives. Lopez married singer Marc Anthony, whom she had dated in the past. They had twins in 2008, but this marriage too ended in 2011, with the divorce being finalized in 2014. On the other hand, he continued his pattern of dating co-stars. This trend in his life, where his work and romantic life intertwined, led to intense relationships that often ended in public and painful breakups. Now, let's dive deeper into how his troubled romantic history influenced his next significant relationship. From co-stars to co-parents, his relationship with Jennifer Garner evolved significantly. They first met while filming Pearl Harbor in the year 2000, where Garner played a nurse and he was a heroic pilot. They met again in 2003 on the set of Daredevil, where their friendship deepened. Even though both were involved with other people, Garner with her then-husband Scott Foley and him with Jennifer Lopez, their bond grew stronger over time. This growing connection led them into a deeper relationship and eventually, marriage. After 10 years together, they decided to separate. Garner once described him as her ideal man, tall, dark, and handsome. They got engaged quietly during Garner's 33rd birthday and tried to keep their relationship out of the spotlight as much as possible. They sought to live a normal life, occasionally making public appearances, such as going to Red Sox games. Their relationship might have looked perfect from the outside, but the cracks were starting to show as more personal struggles came to light. The marriage that crashed. Shortly after their engagement, they married and soon welcomed their first child, a daughter named Violet. They kept the birth private, only releasing a brief statement that mother and child were doing well. Garner accidentally revealed they were expecting a girl during a TV interview, but they embraced their new roles as parents with enthusiasm. Friends often commented on how their love seemed to grow stronger with the birth of their children. Despite their seemingly ideal life, the couple faced numerous challenges. Shortly after celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary, they announced their decision to separate. They stressed their intention to handle the breakup gracefully, focusing on co-parenting their children and keeping things private. The announcement was a shock to many, and it was the only public statement they made about their decision to separate. After the separation, Garner and her ex-partner managed to maintain a good relationship as co-parents. They even took a family vacation to the Bahamas shortly after announcing their breakup. Photos from the vacation showed them spending time with their children, both together and individually. Garner later said in an interview that they continued to support each other, holding on to the history that only they truly understood. This deep history made their continued connection inevitable. However, their challenges didn't end there. Her ex-partner's personal struggles soon became public knowledge. After their divorce was finalized, he completed a stay in rehab and publicly thanked Garner for her support during this difficult time. In a heartfelt post, he discussed his battle with alcoholism and his commitment to being a better father. He acknowledged that his recovery heavily relied on the support of his loved ones, especially Garner. Their divorce was officially filed in 2017, with both seeking joint custody of their children. This move ended years of speculation about whether they would reconcile. Even during this period, they continued to live under the same roof at times, went on family vacations together, and shared parenting responsibilities. These actions blurred the lines of their separation until the divorce was officially completed. But that wasn't the end of their tough times. In 2018, her ex experienced a relapse and once again turned to Garner for help. She drove him to a treatment center, indicating that he recognized his need for support quickly and still relied on her. During this period, Garner faced the difficult task of explaining his condition to their children in an age-appropriate way. Garner's role extended beyond just providing support. She was crucial in creating a stable environment for their children and managing the public aspects of his recovery. This was not an easy task, but it was vital for maintaining their family's stability and supporting his health. The finalization of their divorce in October 2018, 3 years after their initial separation, marked the end of a long and complex chapter in their lives. It was a chapter characterized by mutual respect and a shared commitment to their children's well-being and happiness. His life has been full of ups and downs, especially when it comes to love and relationships. Let's dive into how his past behaviors really made things tough for him when trying to keep love alive. First off, being famous isn't easy, and for him, it came with a lot of problems. He got a lot of heat for some things he said about his marriage to Jennifer Garner. In a chat on The Howard Stern Show, he was really open about how tough his marriage was and how it pushed him toward drinking more. He even said that if he had stayed married to Garner, he might still be drinking because he felt stuck. He mentioned that he drank to feel better because he didn't want to leave his marriage due to wanting to be there for their kids. This made a lot of people upset because it seemed like he was blaming his drinking problems on his failing marriage. Even after their separation, their connection stayed strong, but not without a new set of challenges that would test their bond. The truth about his failed loves. He also shared that their marriage was breaking down even though they still cared a lot for each other. They tried to stick it out mostly for their kids, but eventually they realized that staying together might not be the best for their children. Affleck's straightforward way of talking about these issues surprised a lot of people, and some thought he wasn't being sensitive enough, which is something he's been critiqued for in his other relationships too. Even after he tried to clear up his comments when people got upset, it was too late. The damage to his reputation was already done. After his divorce from Garner, he quickly got into another relationship with Ana de Armas, his co-star in the movie Deep Water, which is ironically about a troubled marriage. They hit it off fast, often seen together, and shared a lot of personal moments on social media. They celebrated de Armas's birthday together, and soon after, she moved in with him. However, this relationship didn't last long either. It ended just a month after de Armas moved in. Some reports said that moving in together so quickly put too much pressure on their relationship, leading to its end. This kind of start fast, end fast relationship seems to be a pattern for Affleck. The official reason given was that de Armas didn't want to keep living in Los Angeles, but the quick end to their live-in situation suggested there were deeper issues. The way they broke up didn't help matters either. Pictures of Affleck's kids playing with a life-size cutout of de Armas, which was later thrown out, got around, showing a pretty messy way to handle a breakup. This showed again that Affleck seemed to have a hard time with commitment. His relationships often end suddenly without really dealing with the problems. This wasn't something new for him. Even his brother, Casey Affleck, commented on the breakup with de Armas, noting that both would probably be okay and move on without much trouble. He mentioned that the stress from the pandemic had made relationships even harder, but hinted that there might be a chance for them to get back together. Not long after his breakup with de Armas, Affleck found himself back with Jennifer Lopez. This rekindled romance, known as Ben Affleck 2.0, caught a lot of people by surprise. Affleck seemed really determined to make it work this time, even sending Lopez emails to reassure her he was serious. Their relationship was back in the public eye, with them taking romantic trips and Lopez sharing in interviews how happy they were. When Affleck proposed to her again, he did it in a very special way, in a place Lopez loves, the bathtub. He gave her a green diamond engagement ring, a color chosen for good luck and to recall some of Lopez's iconic fashion moments. They had a quiet wedding in Las Vegas, followed by a big party in Georgia. But just like before, the intense public interest from their first time together came back, and Affleck found himself struggling with the spotlight once more. Despite trying to keep their new relationship more private, Affleck encouraged Lopez to revisit old songs about their past, which seemed a bit against his wishes for more privacy. He took part in public events and promotions involving their relationship, sending mixed messages about how private he wanted their life to be. This inconsistency put a strain on their relationship, especially as Lopez was working on a documentary that included their personal messages. Sharing these private moments publicly became overwhelming, adding more stress to their relationship. Affleck's unpredictable actions were a big part of the issues he had with Garner as well. Sometimes he tried hard to make her happy, but he also really disliked the public attention their relationship attracted. His mixed signals left Garner in a difficult spot, trying to manage her career while dealing with a partner who was growing more distant. Even though he said he wanted privacy, he agreed to participate in a documentary and an album that brought even more attention their way. He probably wanted to support Garner and make her happy, but it was clear he was uncomfortable with all the media focus. In a documentary, Affleck compared his situation to being married to a boat captain and then complaining about the sea. This showed how hard he found it to deal with the public side of their relationship, a struggle that eventually became too much for him. Is Ben and Jennifer's breakup really about personal differences, or is there something deeper going on in Hollywood that we don't know about? Let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.